Becca Griffith, Becca Griffith, Becca Griffith, Becca Griffith, and introducing Daniel Stippinger. I'm Chris Wineland, and this is the Monologue Show. Here's today's top stories. Yesterday was Easter, which means most of the peeps should have transformed by now from little chicks to full-grown diabetes. Sunday Easter, of course, was also Queen Elizabeth's 93rd birthday, 93. Yes, so not only were the royal family celebrating that he is risen, but also that she is risen. It was very important to them. Today, the CDC announced this measles outbreak that has been going on is actually the second highest in 2 decades, and credited the rise in measles to, quote, parents not being properly informed. Right, like not telling us about measles until after we all attended Easter egg hunts with thousands of children. A picture of a black hole was released for the first time ever this month. The picture is a little blurry with a big blob in the middle. So if you didn't see it, you can also look at a picture with someone's thumb covering the lens. Kim Kardashian is studying to take the bar exam, but I don't think she's starting off on the right note. Last night she told Kanye she had watched every episode of Roseanne. It's the wrong bar. Wrong bar. It's odd how often odd people do odd things. It's time for odd news. Odd news. Churchgoers in San Diego tackled a woman who waved a gun while holding a baby. The woman was escorted out and relocated to a church in Texas. A man was caught on camera stealing a chainsaw by hiding it in his pants. The cops would have taken the chainsaw back, but nobody wanted to touch it. An ex-convict was banned from drinking Pepsi while on probation. Apparently, the drug test can't tell the difference between Pepsi and Coke. A customer threw an iguana at a restaurant manager. In other words, people are getting really creative in gun-free zones. A Tennessee woman was arrested for driving a Walmart scooter to a Waffle House. Said the woman, "I wanted to go somewhere less fancy. Walmart was a little too fancy for me." Since her actions were so strange, the woman was sentenced to 20 years in Florida. A college professor taught his students how to manufacture ecstasy to further their knowledge of pharmaceuticals. This might have been a defensible argument if the class were not English 101. Is it were not or was not? I'd ask the professor, but he's on ecstasy. Switzerland has decided to scrap their reserve of coffee that the country has been stockpiling in case of an emergency. Apparently, the emergency they were anticipating was having to cram for a test. Portland cops pulled guns on a robot vacuum cleaner because they got calls that a robber was in the bathroom. The Portland officers arrested the Roomba anyway on account of not being recyclable. It's Portland, all right? You're already breaking rules in their minds. 2 men wielding swords tried to rob a dollar store before an employee pulled out his gun. The robbers lucked out because they only had to pay a bail of $1. I think that's the rules at a dollar store. Good job. A Tennessee man landed a plane on a highway and drove it to his daughter's school for career day. When asked why, the man said, "In your face, Phil! In your face!" Here's something strange. A moose crashed through a Colorado family's basement. The family was devastated over the house damage. "Oh, you'll get over it," said Canada. An Ohio man has committed to fasting during Lent by only drinking beer. In other words, the man lost his job during Lent. To everyone's surprise, the beer diet has actually lost him 25 pounds, which is hard to believe the human liver weighs 25 pounds. A woman rescued a skunk with a Burger King cup stuck over its head. The woman is now being sued by Burger King for touching a worker. A 5-year-old boy called 911 to ask for McDonald's, and the cops delivered. In related news, cheap dads have left Grubhub and found a new way to bond with their little ones. I don't believe in being politically correct, but I do believe in being politically schmolitically correct. It's time for Politics Schmolitics. A girl was expelled for kneeing a boy in the groin after he entered the girl's bathroom as a transgender. But how did the girl know where to knee the boy if gender is a social construct? Boom, mic drop. This is a water bottle. Pretend it's a mic. Mic drop. Democratic presidential candidate Beto O'Rourke and his wife Amy appear to have underpaid their 2013 and 2014 taxes by more than $4,000 combined. Now, I understand why Democrats are in favor of raising the tax rate. They want others to pay for them. Joe Biden is mostly over his negative attention for his reputation of too much touching. Much like children with measles, Biden has also been told to no longer touch people. They're trying to rebrand Biden, though, with his new campaign slogan, Joe Biden will touch America, but only with your consent. People wouldn't be so upset if they would just read the book, The 5 Love Languages. Clearly, Biden's love language is touch and hair smelling, but that's not in that book. Hair smelling is more or less in a different book, Sexual Harassment for Dummies. Still, we thought here at the show that we'd clear up any future scandals by just sharing with you the love languages of some of the other presidential candidates. Elizabeth Warren's love language is words of affirmation. She just wants anyone to agree with her that she's Native American. Just affirm it. That's all she wants. Beto O'Rourke, who is getting increasingly less popular since Biden jumped in, has a desperate need for the love language quality time. He just wants you to spend time with him. I mean, come on. He even changed his name for you, Democrats. You're leaving him already? Tim Ryan, who wants to bring jobs back to Youngstown, Ohio, desires the love language acts of service. And possibly, if it were a love language, delusion. And finally, Bernie Sanders' love language is receiving gifts, of course. And if elected president, he would like to steal the other love languages as well. With politics splitting our country in opinions, it's always great when you hear about an election that was almost unanimous. The best political news happened in Ukraine. I bet that phrase has never been said. The Ukraine elected a comedian who plays a president on TV to actually be their president. They elected a comedian, ladies and gentlemen. That means there's hope for me. I'm so excited. All right, the best news is he's also expected to be the best impersonator of the new president. So that'll be nice. His name is Vladimir Zelensky, and he won by a landslide. The only people that didn't vote for him were his network, because now they have to cancel. The Ukraine has had a rough time with Russia trying to conquer them, and the former president has already been accused of corruption as well and not fixing the problem at all. And that, obviously, former president is the one who lost the election. So it sounds like Hillary just lost another election again. Like, what is this? Let's get this straight. Okay, so the Ukraine elected a president who used to be a TV star and won against a corrupt politician who definitely colluded with Russia. Okay, you can't argue that when it comes to the Ukraine. So he'll likely be accused of collusion with Russia pretty soon, if it's anything like America out here. And now a word about our sponsor. Have you had a creepy man put his hands on your shoulder and smell your hair? Well, if you're tired of it, get this new shampoo that immediately wears off presidential candidates. I mean, a person. That's right, Biden Be Gone shampoo from the makers of Head & Shoulders. Side note, yes, I saw Babylon Bee did something similar, but we wrote this joke first a long time ago. We haven't been able to tell it yet on the show, and they also chose the wrong shampoo brand. Like, how do you miss Head & Shoulders? I love them, but how did they miss Head & Shoulders? It was right there. Now it's time for sports and stocks. College basketball ended in excitement as Virginia took the championship. I just realized this was a couple weeks ago, but we didn't get to do the episode, so let's pretend that it just happened. College basketball ended in excitement as Virginia took the championship, to everyone's surprise. They were actually the worst team last year, and now somehow they're winning. So I guess we can all agree that there's still bribery happening in the college world. A Connecticut town tried to dry their baseball field faster by pouring gasoline and setting it on fire. In other words, the Connecticut Huskies are expecting a typical season. If you're from Connecticut, you love that joke right now. Jelly Belly is starting a new line of jelly beans that include the marijuana extract. The candies quickly sold out, though, as eating them makes customers more hungry. They were just like, oh, man, these are good. Man, I'm hungry. Oh, man, these are good. Oh, I'm kind of hungry. Oh man, these are really good. I'm kind of hungry. Am I high? Bank of America announced their plan to raise their minimum wage to $20 an hour. Not to brag, but I'm pretty sure they're going to use my 20. In the stock world, Mark Zuckerberg has reportedly sold $39 million worth of Facebook shares. Man, that's a lot of shares. In fact, that's so many shares that Facebook should flag Zuckerberg for spamming. It's only fair. A TV station made an on-air mistake dubbing a college basketball team as sex tournament winners. But hey, to be fair, sex is just one letter away from basketball. What are you doing? I love movies, TV, and celebrities, especially when they mess up or when I can just make fun of them. It's time for the Botch Office. A prequel to Grease is in the works and is based on the song Summer Nights. So the movie will be rated either PG or R, depending on whose song perspective they use. Did she put up a fight? That's the rated R part. A Princess Bride musical is in the works for Broadway, which in my opinion is just inconceivable. Cardi B said before she was famous, she used to drug and rob men. Then she would scurry out. Or in her words, she would skirt. Neil deGrasse Tyson will return to television after the completion of his sexual misconduct investigations. Because of his intelligence, they also let him share his story, show lack of evidence, and lead the entire investigation. See, that joke's funny because he's smart, but also, I actually think he's kind of an idiot. Joaquin Phoenix is playing Jesus in the upcoming film Mary Magdalene. Is it pronounced Mary Magdalene? I don't think so. I always thought it was Magdalene, but I heard a pastor say Magdalene, and it annoyed me, and then I thought, am I wrong? Joaquin Phoenix is playing Jesus in the upcoming film Mary Magdalene, but refused to rub mud in a blind man's eyes because he thought it was, quote, weird. Joaquin Phoenix, who also plays a homicidal maniac in the upcoming movie Joker. But he draws the line at mud in the eyes. Disney just announced that their streaming service Disney Plus will only cost $6.99 a month. It's just like having a Disney theme park in your house, except you pay way less and you don't have to wear a shirt. The new movie Avengers Endgame premieres this week and will run 3 hours long, which should give parents just enough time to move their grown son's stuff out of the house. This is interesting. A man watched Captain Marvel 116 times in order to break the Guinness World Record. The previous record was an astounding 2 times. As you know, I love stories about people doing stupid things and going to jail for them. But the one thing I love even more than that is seeing their mugshots because it's perfect. It just perfectly matches their crime every single time. Here's what I mean. A woman was arrested for attacking her husband after he refused to answer the question, "Do I look pretty?" And here's the mugshot. That woman looks ticked. She is still upset that he didn't say anything. All I wanted to know is, do I look pretty? You're not going to answer? You're not going to say a thing. A dude tried to rob a bank after paying a wizard $500 to make him invisible. Okay, first off, huh? It's true. I was reading the articles. He paid a wizard $500 to make him invisible, and then he went to go rob a bank. Found out, obviously, he's not invisible. I think he's just as surprised as we are when we heard this story. Go ahead, show a picture. He looks like he's still trying to activate the invisibility. Like, can you see me now? Yes, we can see you. Turn to the right. Okay, can you see me now, though? Yeah, no, we can still see. We have never not been able to see you. Your face is way too... Like, he even looks like a person that stands out, you know? So it's like, if he really wanted to be as invisible as possible, all he really had to do was, like, get a haircut and stop doing drugs. Then he would blend in with society just a little bit more. And lastly, after hearing that a boy called 911 to have cops deliver McDonald's, a grown man tried to do the same thing. Let's see his picture. All right, he looked guilty. And that's the show. Be sure to share, like, love, and hate. I'll see you next week on The Monologue Show.